Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We've got the Week 14 review preview, the last week of the fantasy regular season, and because of that, we're going to do a special two-man episode with myself and my favorite Pennsylvanian.
That's bold. There's
Right
some
now,
Pennsylvanians
in this
listening
in this current instance.
in this current VC chat.
Yeah.
I
My
gotcha.
favorite Pennsylvanian that's present.
hmm
Anyway, we had some wild stuff happen last week. We're gonna go ahead and get right into it. I took on Clint last week, um, and took him down. My team finally, this is a good week for me. Overperformed projection, so I'll take that. Good feeling locks me into the playoffs for certain. None of this weird concern going into the final week. Next up, we've got Jared and Brett. This might have been the craziest game
Oh my
of the
god.
season. Um, for those that don't know, Jared is chasing a playoff bye, and we'll get into it a little bit later. But this was a huge week for Jared, playing against Brett, who's
And
trying
me.
to lose.
I was gonna say I'm chasing the number one pick.
Chasing the number one pick. Jameis Winston and Jerry Jeudy scored 112.5 fantasy points on Monday Night Football that brought Brett all the way back from a 100-point deficit, basically.
Yep.
Um, and we were watching the Monday night game together, and Devin joined about halfway through the game. Well, it was like middle of the third quarter maybe, and Jared made the comment. He's like, "Oh, I only have a 20-point lead now," and Devin was laughing. He's like, "A 20-point lead," and I was like, "Devin, he was up by 100."
Yeah. It should not have
And
happened like this. I was projected 107.
yeah, those two alone be your projections.
Ugh. It's like 2 weeks of points in 1 week for me. It's insane.
Number one scorer on the week.
Yeah.
Wild.
Now I'm at jeopardy at getting the first pick.
Yeah, it looks like that 1 week is going to ruin your tank job. Moving on, we've
Yep.
got Hunter and Ross. This one close again. Hunter hasn't been updating his lineup recently, so a couple weeks in a row here where he's been beatable. Ross's team way underperformed. Cup with a bad game. Disley nothing. Cooper bad game. Gus Edwards did nothing. Herbert bad game. And honestly, who could have seen his bench outscoring those guys? But Hunter gets the dub, moves to 12-1, secures a playoff bye in the process. We've got Disco and Batum here. Batum gets the win, a battle of underperforming teams this week. Anthony Richardson had a decent fantasy game because he scored 2 passing touchdowns and a rush. But other than that, he accounted for 157 yards. Ew.
Hey,
Barkley had
that's an
a
Anthony Richardson
yeah.
game.
No, it's not. Oh, you mean it is? Yeah, it is. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like maybe 50% on his passes, maybe less.
Yeah.
2 picks, maybe 1 touchdown.
He has had exactly 2 games this season where he's played almost all the snaps where he's been 50% or better. Sorry,
Yep.
3. I miscalculated. Week 2, week 3, week 11. Wild.
Mhm.
Barkley had a good game for Adam. Got a little bit from Chubb and Kyler, but Corey kind of got screwed by the Niners situation with them getting torched by the Bills on Sunday Night Football.
And playing the snow.
And
Kind of torched him.
McCaffrey getting torched. He also started the wrong quarterback. I don't know why he didn't have a second quarterback in his lineup.
Mm.
Seems like that should be investigated. Maybe
Mm.
would have made the difference in the matchup. But anyway, we move on.
Would have been made a difference in the last place.
It may make a difference in who gets the number one pick. But I'll let you and your brother hash that out. Moving on, we've got JGF and Rascal. Another upset on the week. 2 out of 3 people predicted Rascal to win this week. He did not. George had some big games from Marvin Mims and David Njoku, along with Devon A-Chain doing Devon A-Chain things. And Josh just, didn't get the big plays. Well, he did. They were just on his bench.
Yeah, the squad of Lions and
Packers.
Packers, Seahawks.
The last matchup of Week 13 is Devin and Rob, and we have Devin and Kumpt. We have yet another upset on the week. Rob didn't even start a second running back because, well, he doesn't really have a second running back. But it didn't matter because Devin pretty much, just had a terrible week. Nobody had a good game for Devin. Well, I take that back. Mixon had a good game. Jefferson was alright. Darnold was alright. And that was about it.
Yeah.
Wow, Adam Thielen. Out of nowhere.
He's back, baby. Bryce Young can throw again.
Bryce Young's cooking. Don't look now. So yeah, Rob gets a huge upset win, and this is what we're talking about with the playoff chase one. The really only drama right now is for the top 2 seeds. Technically, I can still get a top 2 seed, but I have to outscore Jared by 153 points, and Devin and Jared both have to lose. So, you never know. You never know, right?
Well, you don't have Jameis or Judy, so I don't know.
Maybe I can make something happen here.
Maybe.
Maybe we can make something happen. Anyway, yeah, wild week 13. So, with that being said, Brett, what injuries happened this past week?
Oh, so we'll talk about the first injury. Trevor Lawrence. I think he might have been seeing going into the light from Mr. Aziz Al-Khalib or Shahir, who's now suspended for 3 games by the NFL. I don't know. I thought he slid pretty normal. I think it was pretty late of a hit. I did hear Tom Brady talking about wanting to penalize the offenses too for late slides and creating more running plays than we've ever seen by quarterbacks. I don't know. Even though I feel like he's the one who started all this don't touch the quarterback stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Trevor Lawrence actually got placed on the IR. So
I guess I wasn't thinking about this until right now, looking at it, but they placed him on IR because of the concussion that he got from that dirty hit. But he's also getting a shoulder injury because we forgot that he missed 3 weeks with this injury. So now it just opens the door to get him surgery now. I wonder what it's
like. The Jaguars are punting.
I wonder what it's like to go get a surgery while concussed. That's wild.
Maybe you don't need as much drugs.
yeah, they don't need to use anything to knock you out. They just start doing surgery. You won't feel it, right? Speaking of not feeling it.
Then CMC. He's played played 3 games?
This was game number 4.
Number 4? He looked really good, and then all of a sudden they tried to do an outside run, and something popped, and, well, I guess the PCL. He sprained that, so now he's out 6 to 8 weeks, out for probably the rest of the season.
And that was the concern with the injury he had, is the tendonitis can weaken all your lower body, the legs. Mm-hmm. So, brutal. Yeah. Brutal injury, brutal season for CMC.
Yeah, and then because he went out, Jordan Mason came in. He did pretty well, but then he also got hurt, sprained his high ankle sprain. Also placed on IR.
Oh, so hang on. So Shanahan said he was going to IR. The transaction has not actually been made yet, which is important to note. He's still likely to go to IR, but it's not official yet.
Because he can come back earlier, I guess, right?
As of right now, yes. He doesn't have to miss 4 weeks right now.
Yeah. But now it's time for Mr. Guriendo, or whatever his name is, to shine. Next we have old Bucky Irving, Dale and my favorite player, at least on Instagram. He went out of the game at one point with a hip pointer, but he should be fine. We need him to be fine.
We do indeed. For another league. Chasing the playoff push.
That's right. But he'll be back. I'm sure he'll be back. He's a big boy. Next we have...
He's not, though.
He's a big boy. Next we got Breece Hall. He was on the list last week with a knee injury. He was kind of questionable. He still played in week 13. Did terrible. So probably should have just not played.
He's still questionable?
Still questionable, but I think that's just a placeholder.
That's the entire Jets team right now. They're questionable.
Yeah.
The entire organization is questionable.
The whole organization. That's fair.
Jets in New York just don't go well.
No. Nice. Okay, moving on. CeeDee Lamb. Re-injured his right shoulder. He should play. I think he is being a little he's a little frustrated with Mr. Jerry himself, so I think he's kind of being a little baby, but he also doesn't have a quarterback, so I completely understand.
Hey, put some respect on Cooper Rush, bro.
Yeah, we'll see.
Didn't they win? The Cowboys are on a win streak, my guy.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I don't know. We'll see.
They're about to beat the Bengals this week.
I hope so. We need that.
Can't wait for Cooper Rush to outduel Joey Burrow. Anyway, I'll let you keep going.
Lad McConkey. He had a mid-moderate knee sprain, and Dale put in here in quotes that he likes to play through the pain.
So the quotes, like, surprised he's be able to play for Breece Hall and for Bucky, a minor hip pointer. These are from the Injury Experts YouTube channel. So this is from an actual, like, person that knows what they're talking about, at least enough to get a following online. So that is not a Dale quote, just for the record. That came from somebody else. I just thought it was funny and had to put it in there.
DK tweaked his MCL. Same injury from a month ago, but I don't know. Until Geno Smith decides to start playing football again, it's gonna be hard for anything on the Seahawks to look good. Cedric Tillman, back from concussion, possibly gonna play this week.
Mm-hmm.
Taysom Hill, torn ACL, season over. Maybe career. I think Taysom's
35.
Celebrating his big 5-0 this year, so he's probably done.
He will be 50 before his next snap. 35 in his next snap before the NFL. Before his next snap in the NFL. Goodness, you really threw me off there.
I mean, he's lived so many lives being that Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
Now it's
just the Swiss cheese body.
Yes.
Got him.
Dallas Goedert, last injury on the list, knee sprain. He's out this week. So I guess they're just gonna be tush pushing and Barkley and all over the place.
What?
What?
Anyway, you can tie up.
Last thing that we have is the suspended Ravens. Some weird news. The Ravens suspended Deontay Johnson for conduct detrimental to the team. So I guess he was told to go in last week and just refused. So I don't know what's going on there. But always like to see a trash Steeler receiver getting pooped on in another organization.
My theory is he wanted the Ravens to lose so the Steelers could get a bigger lead in their division, so he just threw against the Eagles.
Oh, so you're saying he's loyal to the Steelers?
Yeah, I think so.
Ah.
He was forced out. He didn't, he got traded. He didn't walk in free agency. Just saying.
That's fair.
Hypothesis, Anyway,
yeah, gotcha.
All those injuries being said, we're going to go ahead and talk about our busts and surprises from this last week. So, For myself, it's a guy I had in a couple redraft leagues I was relying on, and someone Ross was relying on. So Justin Herbert here had 8.98 fantasy points in our scoring, 147 passing yards, no touchdowns. Didn't turn it over, but that's not going to get it done in fantasy. He also had a 40-plus yard pass, which gives him an extra point, as well as a 2-point conversion, totaling 8.98. And just a terrible, terrible week.
That's just a weird game.
It was a weird game. And also, another weird game, Brett.
Yeah, Mr. Chuba Hubbard. He just got signed to that, what was it, 3-4 year extension?
Yeah, 3-year, 25 million.
He's been pretty consistent throughout the year, or at least the last portion of this year. And he dropped 1.3 fantasy points on 12 carries, 43 yards, and a fumble with loss.
Sorry, 4-year, 33 million.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting that now Brooks is off of IR.
This was really the first game where Brooks got involved. That's the concerning part to me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's no way you can bench Chuba after you sign him for 4 years. It's the same thing with Daniel Jones, right, for the Giants. And then obviously they got rid of him eventually, but
it's not going to be right away. There's going to be some loyalty there. And he still played 80% of snaps, 79. But he just didn't get any receiving work, no touchdowns, a fumble. Brutal. That fumble was in overtime, too. A big reason why they lost to the Bucs.
Yep.
Anyway, we go from one running back doing bad to another running back doing bad. Except this one didn't do bad this week. We've got Rico Dowdle as my surprise of the week. 22 carries for 112 and a touchdown. 3 receptions for 11 yards. You know, grabbed some PPR there. This was actually the first Cowboys running back with 100 yards and a touchdown. And I forget how long. It's like a crazy amount.
Oh, yeah, I remember that
stat.
It's
like a crazy amount of time. I don't remember exactly what it was, but just a wild performance from Rico against the Giants. And another wild performance.
Yeah, I mean, I got to give credit where it's due when it's your biased team, Mr. Danger Russ himself. It was just great to see him go toe-to-toe with Burrow. Steelers don't put up a ton of points.
Much.
So, yeah, he went 29 for 38, 414 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. The interception was kind of but, yeah, 400 yards by a Steelers quarterback. I don't think that's what they say since Ben Roethlisberger.
Correct.
Or no. Yeah, in 2017, I think.
Yeah, it was Big Ben.
Yeah, but it was like the first time that the Steelers had put up 500 total offense since like 2009 or something like that.
The Pittsburgh Steelers have rediscovered the forward pass. Congratulations. Jameis Winston throws for 400 in his sleep, by the way.
It still loses.
Well, he's Joe Burrow if Joe Burrow turned it over 3 times a game.
True.
Anyway, we're going to go ahead and move on to our previews for Week 14, the final week of the regular season. Huge week for some seeding shuffling in the playoffs to determine the order and who your matchup will be. For myself, I go up against Kumpt. I don't really think there's any doubt here, but you never know what happened. Looking at last week, we had a bunch of matchups we thought were easy picks, and we had about 4 upsets. So we'll see. I think I'm going to win this matchup, Brett.
So then the next one is Hunter and myself.
Wait.
Do you want me to say who I think is going to win?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that I think you're going to win.
Thank you.
Wow, okay. Yeah, so the next one is myself and Hunter. I'm really, really hoping that I lose this week. But I don't think even if I started my best lineup, I would beat Hunter. He does have Lamar Jackson on bye. I don't know. There's a lot.
With Jameis and Judy in the lineup, you'd have a shot. I know that for sure.
I know.
You'd have a shot to go toe-to-toe with any team in the league with Jameis and Judy. But I can take them off your hands if you don't want to have that worry.
Maybe. We'll see. I might be trading them to Devin.
Anyway, final thoughts on your matchup here? Didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I think Hunter probably going to take this. I think Joey B carries them to victory.
Joey B great this week? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I agree.
Joey B and Brock Bowers.
I agree. Hunter will probably beat you. Anyway, the next matchup, we've got Jared playing Ross. Jared still has Mahomes in his lineup, although that's probably going to change. He'll probably put Ross in, I'd imagine, over Mahomes. I mean,
he loves Mahomes.
He's had some good weeks recently. A couple 30-pointers. That's it. Just 2 in the entire season. But both have been in the last 5 games, so interesting note. Kyron's been kind of getting back to more of himself, scoring touchdowns the last 2 weeks, but not huge fantasy games recently. With all that being said, I do think Jared wins this, and I also think Jared will secure the second bye in the first round for the playoffs with this win.
Yep.
Okay.
I think so too. It's a. I mean, they both have 2 quarterbacks, which is good, but I don't know. The quality of Jared's team's a little more consistent. He still can put in 2 players that he has on bye on his team, and
oh yeah. I didn't realize there were 2. He has a 63 with 2 guys on bye, spots. And Ross has his best lineup in there.
So I don't think it's gonna be a real challenge, but you never know.
Speaking of never know, the next matchup you're going to talk about, Brett, is a team you never know with. We haven't figured this team out all season.
Yeah, so the next one is Disco and Rascal. Rascal's team's it's been really, really good, but then he lost one of his quarterbacks, and then the other one is now a backup quarterback. So he's really just flying with one guy. Now he kind of is going up against a team that it can potentially have 2 guys in at quarterback, but the second guy, regardless of who he puts in, could be considered not quarterbacks either.
Will Levis has a good game this week. That's what I'll say.
What about Mac Jones?
Will not have a good game this week.
But yeah, it's the only thing that would be a problem for Josh would be if Green Bay just completely annihilates the Lions this week, like
on the ground,
defensively.
Yeah, low scoring game would be bad for him in that matchup.
Like Gibbs, J-Mo, Laporta.
But the other thing is, if that's a high scoring game, Josh has got a free win after Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, we'll find out a lot after Thursday with that lineup that he has in. So,
although Josh does not currently have any Packers receiver in the lineup, and I think that's malpractice on his part. I think you need to find a way to get that stack with Love, one way or the other.
Yeah.
Final thoughts here, Brett?
I mean, I have Rascal winning this one, I have Disco. I want Disco to win this one. That way, he is 1 game up on me, so I get that first round pick. Mm-hmm. But I find it very hard for him to actually pull that off. He has some switching he can do, but
I agree. The switching will be done. We will mandate the best lineup because of what's going on between you and him. We do need those good lineups this week, assuming you don't trade players away. But I just want to circle back. I agree, Josh will probably win, but you never know. If the lineups are 100%, things can happen. Josh's team has had some dud weeks. And I do want to circle back to the Jared and Ross matchup. If Jared does indeed beat Ross as we've predicted, That will effectively end Ross's season because he does have to win in order to get into contention for that 6th spot. With Junior Giants fan, who's going up against Adam. Ross would need Junior Giants fan to lose this matchup to even get in the playoff consideration. Pretty much a win for Ross with a loss for JGF puts him in the playoffs, but with him going up against Jared, it's a steep hill, and to make it worse, I think that JGF will beat Badham in this matchup and secure the 6th playoff spot, right?
Yeah, I think unfortunately Badham is not going to have enough juice with one quarterback. Richardson on bye. Yes, Junior Giants has one quarterback as well, but I feel like his quarterback has more of a chance to pop off. The only saving grace Badham really has is Barkley. And depending on what he does. Yeah. He also has Garendo, and we'll see in a little bit my prediction. If he pops off, it could be pretty tight. And we might flip the Badham. But I have JGF winning this matchup this week.
It is interesting. I was looking at some sleeper lines before the show here, and Barkley's rushing line right now on sleeper sits at 111.5 rushing yards. I've never seen a running back at that many rushing yards for a single game that I can remember.
In the NFL.
As an over-under, like that's a sports betting line. Like that's crazy as that's his default line, but
that's only Gene T, and that's college football.
Yeah. Barkley is the Gene T of the NFL basically right now.
Right.
Wild. And the final matchup, Brett?
Final matchup is Devin and Clint. I don't really know what would. I guess if Devin lost, it'd put you closer to getting that 3rd spot.
The only really thing that can happen here, because I'm 100 points below Devin for 2nd. Like we can for 3rd. Sorry, you can have big weeks in scoring and like flip stuff like that around, as far as that goes. As in like 100 points can be made up in 1 week in this league with our scoring, but it really only matters because Devin has to win and outscore Jared by 56 points in order to get the bye. Again, possible. So a loss, if Devin would lose here, it would pretty much, it would end his chance at a bye if he lost, basically.
Right. Yeah.
But Jared...
yeah. I mean, I have Devin winning this one regardless.
I agree.
He even has Aiden O'Connell in as his 2nd quarterback, which I feel like he could put Purdy or Darnold in.
I wouldn't
pretty easily.
I wouldn't play Purdy or Darnold over O'Connell.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I guess I don't know. Either way, the quality of Clint's team with Parker Washington is the WR1 in Jacksonville, right?
Yeah, right now.
Got McMillan, Okonkwo, some crappy running backs. Yeah, I just think the quality of Devin's team is a little bit better than Clint's. I'm just really surprised Clint's 5-8 this year.
Bold prediction, honestly.
Yeah.
Wild stuff. I'm so ready for this playoff run, man. The exciting time of year for fantasy football. When you make the playoffs, you're in the big dance with 3 weeks to play. If you get that first round bye, you get a little bit of a breather before you gotta go, and hope you have the best team for 2 weeks. Or you gotta hope you have the best team for 3 weeks in a lot of situations. But anyway, moving on, we've got our bold predictions. So last week, Jared predicted Garrett Wilson to have 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. He did not do that, in case anyone was wondering. He actually had 5 catches for 41 yards. Pretty bad performance for all of the Jets, but specifically Garrett Wilson as well. That was Jared's bold prediction. Devin's bold prediction was Lamar Jackson to have under 180 yards and exactly 1 touchdown. Now, he did do better than that, but it wasn't all bad for Lamar. He ended up with 237 passing yards in that game against the Eagles. He did have a lot on the last drive, I think like 30-something, so he was in the 190 range before the last drive. He did have 2 touchdowns and added 80 rushing yards, 79 to be exact. So Devin, decent bold prediction, didn't come true, but I will allow Brett to elaborate on what the heck he was thinking last week.
Oh, it might look weird now that we know what actually happened. So Saquon actually went. I predicted Saquon to be under 50 total yards and 0 touchdowns. I thought the Ravens defense were just gonna stop the Eagles all day. He actually ended up with 23 rushing yards, 107 yards, a touchdown, and not many passing or receiving yards. But it was, I believe, like the middle of the third quarter or halftime. Yeah. I'm not even sure when it was. He was at like 47 total yards, no touchdowns. So as much as it seems like a crazy call, until that point, it was a solid, bold prediction.
That's fair. He has been under 50 total yards and no touchdowns in exactly 0 games this season. So I respect the boldness of the prediction, though.
It was pretty bold.
It's pretty bold. His worst game of the season was Week 6 against the Browns, funnily enough.
And that's kind of where I base it off of. Yeah. Was an AFC North team.
Can he play AFC North football? You got a Jared situation going on here.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we'll see in Week 15.
Ooh, here we go. There's a sneak peek at Brett's bold prediction for Week 1 of playoffs.
That's right, Dale. Here we go. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, no, I said the thing. Anyway,
you said it.
Speaking of something that hasn't happened all season, I'm firing up Trey McBride with 100% confidence. We spoke about Bucky Irving on the injuries. Brett, we need him to happen for our other league. We're fighting for playoffs. We have to beat our opponent by 10 points this week to clinch a spot. We've got Trey McBride. In my prediction, he has 100 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. He hasn't scored a receiving touchdown all season. We're going big for bold prediction in Week 14.
He has no receiving?
With a bang. Doesn't have a single receiving touchdown. He has a fumble recovery touchdown in Week 2, and he has a rushing touchdown in Week 8. Those are his 2 touchdowns on the year. And, by the way, 6 weeks apart. Week 2, Week 8, it's Week 14. He's going to double it up.
Oh, okay. Let's see. All right. Then my bold prediction is based on the double injury to the San Francisco running backs. I'm guessing Isaac Guerendo. I'm predicting 150 total yards with 2 touchdowns.
Woof.
Coming out the gate hot and ready to steamroll their next opponent after they look abysmal against the Bills.
2 weeks in a row they've looked abysmal. Packers and the Bills kind of manhandled them. I'll tell you what, there's someone that's not here, that's not really been locked in all season with us, loves that bold prediction, and it's Ross. He wants a chance at the playoffs, and if Adam's going to pull the upset, I think Guerendo has to do something big.
Yeah, between Barkley and Guerendo, I think that'd be pretty good for Badham.
That running back room got to produce.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, we shall see what happens. It's fun to have the final week of the regular season. Next week we're gonna have some playoff preview stuff for our fantasy league. We pretty much know the picture, but we don't want to predict anything before it's locked in 100%. If the predictions we've said as far as the matchups, if they all go correct, if we go 6 for 6 this week, because we both think Rascal's gonna win. Brett has officially picked Disco because of the wanting him to win.
Yeah, it's hopium.
If everything happens the way we or have predicted it, this will be the seeding. Assuming
just as shown.
As shown, yes. Assuming Hunter wins, assuming Jared wins, assuming Devin wins. Unless Devin outscores Jared by, 56 points this week, everything will be the same as far as seeds go, assuming everyone wins. If Josh loses, or if I lose and Josh wins, that could flip, and that's really it. If Jared loses, he won't get the bye. Assuming Devin beats Clint, we thought Devin would beat Clint last week, and his team had one of the worst weeks of the season. So, a lot can happen, as we saw last week, but I feel pretty good with the 6 we predicted.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the same.
Also, I find it very interesting that this is where we're at in the season, where we actually do have a dispersal team in the playoff picture.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. There's a potential that George could run around and try to beef up a little bit. I'm not sure if he can really get up to maybe Hunter's level or up in there.
I don't know. Hunter's team is kind of faltered a little bit. I know he hasn't been updating his lineup, but Burrow and Lamar already played each other twice, and so we don't get that crap in the playoffs. The Bengals are out of the playoff picture, so if Burrow has a minor injury, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Burrow and Lamar are a deadly combo in fantasy, so you just never know.
For sure. He also just lost Taysom Hill, who's been a flex option for him. Deontay Johnson's nothing. We'll see. It'll be fun to talk about playoffs next week. But thank you guys for watching. We're also going to, at some point, either during or right after the fantasy playoffs, put out a separate show talking about some college prospects, since we've got more of a dynasty show. We want to get everybody a little bit familiar with some names going into the off season, but we're gonna try and do a show a month in the off season. Keep some stuff fresh. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Probably keep those about 15-20 minute episodes. But yeah, we will see you guys for the week 15 preview, where we look ahead to the playoff picture.
Yes, sir.